Every new US administration promises a total reset on Iran, claiming their strategy of maximum pressure or absolute isolation will finally force a surrender. Yet, decades later, the brutal realities of geography and economics always drag Washington back to the negotiation table. Welcome to Sacred Echoes of India. In this segment, we are exposing the hidden forces driving this endless cycle, how geography protects Iran like a fortress, and how endless sanctions actually destroy US leverage, how it all comes back to diplomacy. In 2018, the White House tore up the Iran nuclear deal, labeling it a historic failure. Yet today, following intense economic isolation and military friction in West Asia, Washington is right back to exploring diplomacy. When it comes to Iran, the international system has rigid structural rules. And no matter how powerful you are, you can't outvote geography or bomb an idea. Washington's repeated return to the table is largely driven by geography. In the early 2000s, when Iran was labeled part of the axis of evil, many thought it would follow the path of Afghanistan and Iraq. But military strategists ran into a physical brick wall. Iran is a natural fortress. It is 3 times the size of Iraq, covered in rugged mountain ranges, and anchors the land bridge connecting Europe, Central Asia, and South Asia. Even at the peak of its post-9/11 military supremacy, the US realized that an invasion of Iran wasn't just a larger version of Iraq. It was a global economic trigger. Because Iran sits directly across the Strait of Hormuz, any hot war instantly shuts down a vital artery of global energy. For decades, the debate centered on whether the US or Israel should just bomb Iran's nuclear facilities. But today, that logic has completely collapsed. Modern kinetic power, even advanced bunker busters, can shatter concrete and collapse deeply buried labs. But it cannot destroy human knowledge. Once a nation acquires the domestic technical capacity to build a nuclear program, military pressure cannot erase it. Which brings us right back to the recent crisis. The sequence of military strikes, counter-strikes, and maritime threats has once again wound down into a predictable pattern, a ceasefire and renewed back-channel talks. The current talks don't look like an idealistic attempt to fix everything at once. They are a pragmatic return to an old balance, managing the immediate threats of regional war, energy disruptions, and nuclear escalation, while kicking the harder questions down the road. By dismantling the JCPOA framework in 2018 to force a total surrender, the US removed the monitoring systems. The result? Iran accelerated its enrichment to historic highs. Because you cannot bomb an idea, the only way to establish long-term limits on nuclear capability is a verified, negotiated framework. Then there is the economic reality, the leverage trap. Under both Obama and Trump, Washington viewed economic sanctions as an absolute weapon. Chop off banking access, block oil exports, and force compliance. But sanctions have a shelf life. When the Trump administration deployed unprecedented economic pressure in 2018, it inflicted massive pain on the Iranian public. But it didn't change the state's strategic alignment. Instead, it triggered the law of diminishing returns. When a country is permanently isolated, it adapts. It builds alternative trade routes, engages in grey market commerce, and deepens ties with non-Western powers who aren't bound by Washington's rules. Sanctions are highly effective at bringing a country to a table, which is how Obama built the JCPOA. But when used as an endless tool for total capitulation, they lose their bite. Once a target adapts to the maximum penalty, the sender loses their leverage. The recent cycle of military exchanges, followed closely by a ceasefire and a quiet return to discussions, isn't an anomaly. It's the system resetting to its natural equilibrium. The current negotiations aren't trying to build a grand utopian peace or settle every regional grievance. They are deeply pragmatic. They are designed to prevent an uncontrolled regional war, safeguard energy corridors, and manage immediate nuclear boundaries. People love to debate who was right, Obama's engagement or Trump's disengagement. But the real story isn't about political ideologies. It's about the limits of absolute power. Washington can pressure Tehran, weaken its economy, and deter its military actions. But because Iran is too large to occupy, too resilient to ignore, and possesses knowledge that cannot be unlearned, the destination remains completely unchanged. Eventually, all roads lead back to the table. Thanks for joining us today. If you liked this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insightful videos. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.